Hello class, this is my video for evidence-based management article, and for my article I chose an article from the Harvard Business Review from a number of years ago entitled Ford's Impressive Sustainability Strategy by Andrew Winston. And Andrew Winston has written a number of articles and books on green technology and the impact of the auto industry on the environment. And the reason why I chose this article was because when we think of Ford Motors, we don't necessarily think of them as a green company, a green automaker. We normally think of like Toyota with the Prius and Tesla. But really, Ford has, for a couple decades now, been very innovative in green technology. Of course, Ford has their own electric vehicle, the Focus EV, but they've also developed a number of technologies and have incorporated those into their current fleet of vehicles, most notably the EcoBoost technology that you see in many of their products, and even some of the other automakers have incorporated that. And that has increased fuel efficiency by 25% in a lot of their vehicles. The article focused on mainly the history of Ford's sustainability program, and it goes all the way back to the mid-90s with Bill Ford Jr. and his vision of where he wanted to see Ford Motors as concerns the environment. And he assembled a team of really top-ranked climate scientists to come and work for Ford and develop this sustainability model. And they first looked at what was the impact that Ford had on the CO2 levels. And they determined that Ford alone was responsible for about 2% of all CO2 levels in the world. And they designed a strategy to reduce Ford's carbon footprint by looking at a set number of parts per million of CO2 levels in the atmosphere that was set by climate scientists. I believe it was like 400 parts per million. And so they set about to design a strategy in which they would reduce that over time. And one of the things that's really interesting about one of the ways they're going about this is in a marketing campaign that they have launched in some cities in which they promote people to use public transportation. And this just stands in stark contrast to an automaker that's focused on putting people in cars, but yet they're promoting people bypassing cars to use public transportation. And they do this because they think it will create a better image for Ford. The sustainability model also has spilled over into their plants and into their production lines, and they've also been able to decrease their carbon emissions there as well. So again, a really interesting article about something we don't necessarily think of when we think of Ford, but Ford has really been innovative in developing green technology and decreasing their carbon footprint.